Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. It's true. I am in. I'm happy to be here. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK on USA Global TV and radio. And our show today is presenting Pet Psychic AMINAH. And I always make a joke that I'm going to present her, so I'm not going to do it right now. No, I'm kidding. All right. I present you Pet Psychic AMINAH. Hello.
I feel like I need a crown, at least a tiara.
I think you should get one. I think
should.
You should get one.
I should. And then make everybody bow to me. Oh man, I'll get rocks thrown at me so fast.
We actually have on one of our other shows, the film and music show, Madeline Chan is my co-host, and she does wear a crown. And she always says women, we should wear a crown. Why not?
Well, and I haven't picked her up. I haven't watched in a few months because I tend to dance along and sing along. Luckily, I'm not in the back on camera anymore. But she's just wonderful. She's a wonderful person. And, you know, we've all gotten meetings, not enough of them, of course. But it's wonderful to have all these people that you get to touch all week long. And you don't even have to serve us dinner or hors d'oeuvres, or we wipe our feet. I was in the day when my mom had all these people over the house. It was like Grand Central Station. And then 4 siblings. So...
It's crazy. I am pretty excited. I don't know if you read my announcement, but I'm going to go over to London for an event, and I'm going to get to meet the people who I work with who are across the pond. How exciting is that?
That is exciting. I took the girls when they were very little. We did a Harry Potter tour, besides lots of other things. My family is actually English by heritage, and everybody keeps the genealogy. My dad has 5 brothers and a sister. And so they do a lot of genealogy. So I'm well aware of how many dead bodies we've got in castles or something, because that's where they put them. And it's like, wow, I'm just dying to brag about that.
You know, I was thinking about you the other day. It was July 4th, and my family members, they have a dog, and her name's Harley. And that, of course, people started with the fireworks on the 3rd. I don't know. We don't have enough on the 4th. Now we have them the 3rd and the 4th. Exactly. And my sister purchased one of those thunder jackets. I think it is
wonderful. Did it work for him?
Yes. It's just she actually seemed to be okay and put on loud music, or louder music, so she was distracted.
Right. Great. And there probably were a lot of new people to smell, especially a dog. They're all about their nose, literally. Cats pretty much, but they're a lot more tactile with their feet than dogs are. But if you know it, that's why I go to source. And if you know where your animal originated from, we still carry those caveman behaviors. So at least I do. And so do the animals. They come from packs, or they come from wolves, or they come from, I don't know what a Chihuahua and a few others came from, but somebody started out there somewhere. And you go back to source, and what are they looking to react to immediately? If you're going to deal with a dolphin, you're going to deal with high intelligence and sonar and water and just a million things. But if you're going to deal with a dog, you're going to deal with a pack mentality. And you deal with a cat, it's me, myself, and I. And yeah, you can sleep next to me once in a while. But that's where they originate. If you try to change that, which we're talking coexistence today, and this is my big passion. This is exactly what we're talking about. Is you can't help them through a tough time, an accident, they're in a cast, they need to be quarantined, or they need to stay indoors because of the fireworks. These animals are going to learn. They've learned to run out of danger. We could use a little bit of that sometimes instead of running to it. Now, if you're a first responder, that's your job, is to run to it. But the pack, Your dogs are going to be looking at their leader, which should be one of the family members. And they want to feel, are you calm? Are you centered? Are you concerned? Are you just a little edgy? You need to manage your feelings and how you feel about things. That takes time, and that takes a good trainer, not just the person. You're training the dog and the person because you're a pack. A cat is a whole different thing. Ferret's a whole different thing. Lizards, snakes, whole different thing. If you're going to have birds, what kind of birds? You're going to go with a big falcon, which is probably illegal where you are unless you're licensed for that, or you're going to do a parakeet. I have a sun conure. Everybody says they're incredibly loud. They really are. And they're very small. For a parakeet, they're about average, but they are as loud as the big birds. Know what you have. Then start the conversation on the ground they understand. Are you going to go to a baby, or are you going to go to anybody under 5 years of age and give them the dissertation on pi? And I mean not the edible one, but the numbers. No. So that's what you also want to start with your animals. Right now, there's not just fireworks now. We used to have neighbors that put them off all year long, and it's illegal. I never understood how they got away with it, but that was the way it was.
Amina, thank you for sharing that. I know today's subject is building a relationship with your pet, but I do have a question. We
Sure.
were talking a little bit about backstage about coexistence. And what I'm wondering is I read an article about a young woman who was attacked by a shark. And this shark was in very shallow waters, which was unusual. And as we see a lot of changes in our world, right? As we look and see, I mentioned to you the wetlands that are out this window, they don't look anything the same as they used to. The birds are one here and there. I mean, it used to be birds flying over all the time. So my question is, just thinking about that young woman and coexisting, are sharks migrating into bays and other waterways because there's less ocean, or because the temperature is not the same? Do you have any information on this?
I haven't looked up sharks in a while, so I'm going to go with what I know about animals in general. So remember, do your own research, and anybody who's listening. But in general, sharks are saltwater. That is their place. Can they change to fresh? Yeah, it's possible. Everything's possible. And it takes time, it takes generations. We have fish that have already made that transition and gone from fresh to salt or salt to fresh, depending on how the world was going. Animals do change with time. We actually have fish, like if you think of the catfish, that's the one that always comes to my mind. It might be not be a good example, but it's one that comes up to my mind. And there are fish that actually their bottom fins that they rotate and try to get some movement right behind the gills, they become feet. And the scientists were finding either in history they had little feet to walk. And then there's one fish, and I wish I could remember the name, but it reminds me of the catfish. That's what made me think of it, because of the size and the strength and just the presence that the catfish has. So these fish actually walked on their fins, and they were more like feet because they needed the stability. They didn't have bones per se, but they had cartilage type things. Now there's somebody's going to be much more educated, but everything evolves. We are not the same humans that were on the earth 100 years ago. I mean, heck, we wear more than a caveman. We wear designer clothes. So we've also changed. Now, we went through a time where people were getting taller and taller and taller. And I don't know about you, but my 2 cents now is I'm starting to see that with the kids I'm seeing in high school and the kids I'm seeing in middle school, that that height, at least in California, is getting lower again. So I have two incredibly, both my girls are 5'9", and their dad is 6'2". And my dad was maybe 5'1" on a good day. And I'm incredibly tall. So I'm 5'7". When I was in high school, I'm probably about 5'6", 6.5" by this time. But my siblings are all 5'5" and thereabouts. and below. My brother would be probably the 5'6". So uh, every family, what I'm trying to put out is going to put, the genes are going to change by the mother that is also giving birth. If you have a mother who is not healthy, same with animals, same with nature, same with plants. You're going to get a plant that has a seed that's got part of it missing. Well, the whole thing of a seed is to grow. So that plant very well might come up halfway, or half, instead of two stalks, it's only got one, but it will come up. Does that mean it's the best thing to eat? Probably not. The nutrition isn't there. So the same thing with people. You're going to get your height wherever your genes mixed, because you're taking two people, the male and the female, and you're mixing it. It's not any different with animals. It's not any different. Your honeybees are staying about the same size, but we have less because we use so many chemicals, so many chemicals. Just I was working on an article before I got ready for the show, and I'm talking about pet waste. How many times have we gone, just you and I bet, just for a walk where somebody has a dog, or somebody has brought a dog, or you're walking through the park and you're seeing all these species here, 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 and nobody's picking it up. So what I think people still don't realize is it's not biodegradable. You're eating, these animals are not eating deer and cats and dogs that are, eating each other, but they're all eating processed food. So you cannot have waste that will biodegrade, because I think people still think, oh, it'll become dirt. Yeah, in about 10 years, it's at all possible, because there's too many byproducts in our pet food, that this is not going to be like, we want to go out and get, I remember we would go out to the ranches and collect manure and then bring it into I was in 4-H as a child, and we'd bring it back in to the ground and enrich the soil. That's how you do it in the desert, but that's how you do it everywhere. You bring in those nutrients because they're herbivores. They're just eating grasses and greenery, not meat. I'm not going to take the wolf's poop and make a garden out of it. It's not going to work as well. But a deer, sure, absolutely. Sheep, absolutely. That you have to see what everybody's eating and where it's changed. That's why we have so many medical issues, not only people, but our animals as well.
It's really fascinating. There's so many things that I learned from you, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, and I didn't know about the sharks either. So that's fascinating. So let's go back to the subject for today, which is how to build a relationship with your pet. And I would believe it depends on the approach, depending on what kind of pet you have. But if we stick with dogs and cats first, what are your thoughts about this?
And I truly believe just what you said. Even if you take this as, this is my general, when I meet students for the first time, and whatever their animal is to say, what do you know about them? When you meet a person for the first time and you want to get to know what do they like, what they don't like, because I truly believe we don't want to offend anybody, and we don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't want to not serve them a drink if they were thirsty and I did, whatever that is. Animals have that same structure, just not bring them drinks. But they're going to, if you see the dogs and the wolves, they're going to smell their bottom. They're going to know where they are coming from because they'll have the odor of the food they eat. They'll also know if the female's in heat or not. They're going to know if the male is uptight or not. Everything comes through those pheromones, if you want to put it in the human term, of how do you feel. Well, we people, we shake people's hands. We look at their eyes. We pay attention. If you are really doing a first greet, you're looking at what they do, what they say. Did they want a drink? Did you offer a drink? All of those. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Would you like a glass of water? All those niceties when you meet somebody for the first time. I remember I've always liked shaking hands. and just greeting people, because I've always worked with men, and women are great, but I've noticed the women are still doing the floppy dead fish handshake. I grew up with more men. So it was about, with men, it's just like the wolves. You're going in and you're going to smell them and you're going to stand tall and you're not going to be aggressive, but you're going to be confident. That's a totally different thing. So when I go in to shake somebody's hand, I'm going to do it firmly. It's not going to be a wet, soggy. I don't know about you, Dr. Jacqueline, but I've shaken enough hands in my lifetime. I've got a few wet, soggy ones. I'm like, oh, how do I rub this on my pants and have them not see me do that? But that is part of greeting. That is part of being around and figuring out what is their parameter, what is their language. So many people don't believe animals have language. Oh, they bark. Well, I don't know what that means. Did you take the time to figure out what it means? That means you have to stop, look, listen. Do you want to know what your cat said? Do you want to know if they're in trouble? Whining is not the only way. Being shy is another way. I know a lot of people who cannot handle shy animals, shy people. They just don't get it. And that's not wrong, but you need to be more careful that you don't go towards those. Or if you find you have a lot of shy people in your life, maybe you're attracting them because you need to get to know them. Maybe what your gifts are a great balance for them. So did I totally get off on a tangent and not answer your question? My head is so full of knowledge. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's say you have purchased a puppy or a kitten,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a great time to start setting some guidelines, right? Some rules, some routines so that they can get used to it. And I would think during this period of time, this is a great time to start building a relationship with your new loved one. How do we do that?
You know, the last part you said is the most powerful. The most powerful. It's a relationship. This is not a I'm the person and I get to boss you around, and you see this in people that really have any kind of issue with I'm in control now. I'm in control now. I'm like, wait a minute, this should be a partnership. If you're going to get a dog, it's a pack animal. They want to be with you. They want to be with you. Cats will choose to be with you. And I've actually had a cat walk away, say, yeah, get you on the other side. He didn't like my husband at all. And he finally went and lived with the neighbor. And I said, is that okay? And they said, that's fine. I said, here's the food. He just didn't care for him at all. So you need to respect and honor not only people you meet, but the animals deserve the same. They're not less than us. You wouldn't be eating. You wouldn't have honey, which means you wouldn't have fruit, which means you wouldn't have potatoes. If you just got rid of the honeybee, which we seem to be doing with all the pesticides, we won't even get on that bandwagon, but you need to respect everything. Now, I don't know what the mosquito is. I keep saying that. So somebody tell me, well, what the heck the mosquito is supposed to be doing? But a honeybee, the butterflies, all of them have a point. So when you have a pet come into your life, a cat or dog, let's just stick to the, guinea pigs, to any of those normal, everyday pets. Find out, spend time with them, especially if you're adopting. I really hope you're adopting. Shelters really need that, and a commitment. And the shelter people can give you what they like, what they don't like, what it's like to walk them on the leash. If you don't know how to do that, if you haven't had that kind of pet before, then find somebody who has. I'd never had a ferret before, and we were babysitting the ferrets from the school during the summer break. I read up. I talked to somebody who had ferrets, and I learned a lot about they do not have to smell. Hers always smelled, but they also didn't clean their house very often. So this was something that they didn't see as important. But ferrets have a lot of oils in their fur, and all types of oil in their, not just their feces, but in their glands. I'm trying to find the right word. And so if their cage is not kept clean, even more so than a bunny or a guinea pig, rats, snakes, then they're going to smell. And as soon as you come in that person's house, you're going to know they have pets. It is really vital, so your animals don't get sick, that you keep it clean. You have to watch what they're doing. If you met a new person and you went up to shake their hand and they said, "Oh no, I don't shake hands." Culturally, religiously, there are groups of people that do not shake people's hands, and most of the time it's man on woman type of thing. In the Islamic religion, you're not going to see most women, especially if they have a full hijab, which is the scarf, shaking a man's hand. And it's not, shouldn't be offensive. It's just their way of keeping the respect. This is not better or worse. And animals are not better or worse. It is just who they are. And if you accept them for that, so let's say it's a really terrible thing and they're pooping on the floor all the time outside the litter box. There's a reason why. I have had a client that it was the sand. Cats are very about texture, very much about texture. So she needed to change the sand. And most you would think the sand comes in like little rocks and little rocks. But they put deodorant in it and they make it out of different types of kind of granules. They also make it out of corn husks and make it into like little, what do you want to say, like little tubes, and they chop them all up. There are different kinds. You can use shredded paper. Is it the best? No. But guess what? You can transition your animal through that by sticking with something that they're able to do or they can do. And what does it build? Love and compassion for each other. I couldn't stand having a Suncliner screaming at me every time I woke up. And she did. Mackie always, because she was very bonded to me. So I made sure that I kept her cage closed. So as soon as I got up, she just saw me. And yes, it was a little suffocating after a while, but it made the household calmer. My girls could sleep in. Everybody else could sleep a little longer. And as long as Maggie could see me, she was nice and quiet. So that wasn't a hardship for me. Hopefully I didn't get off too many rails to answer your question.
That was very good. Thank you for answering that. I'm going to take us to a quick break, and then we'll be back for more conversation. So stay tuned, folks. We look forward to coming back momentarily.
Don't say 900 times. All the basics that people know about speaking. It makes a smoother show. You are doing it for the better good. But if I decide that I'm offended by that, am I going to do it? Grudgingly, maybe. And then we won't have a working relationship. How do pet owners feel like if they were being yelled at all the time, if they were being instructed, if they were hit with the newspaper? Is there a motivation in there to do better? Or is it time to run away because you're in a toxic relationship? I really like to teach and coach with a mirror on each of us. We're not perfect. I make lots of mistakes. I learned a lot from my mistakes and we almost work better. But when you have a life in your hands, be it a child, a plant, a tree, or an adult that is handicapped, I don't care wherever their cognitive ability is, I encourage you to match it and go just a teeny bit above so that we're always asking for just a little bit more. But if you're expecting your dog to come into your house and be sitting, staying, giving your paw, and not pooping on your floor, or God forbid they get diarrhea, a lot of animals, especially the pack ones, who are very connected to their families, will get GI problems, just like adults do, just like humans do when we get emotional. And I mean in the negative. When life is really beating you up, or your family, or your pack leaders, how the dogs are looking at it, if you're really going after them and yelling all the time, how healthy do you think that is? Now, let me caveat, there are people and cultures that yelling is like us talking. And I understand that, but it has a different feel. It has a different delivery. Yeah, it's loud, but there's no hate behind it. There's no, I am God and I am in charge and you do it or you don't eat. And I've heard people say that. I've seen people do it to people and animals. But I've also seen some very fiery cultures that yell and scream and yell and scream and yell and scream. I watched my brother-in-laws do this. And they just went at it, and I'm like, oh, I'm terrified. And then they walked down the stairs and got in the car and went to shopping. I'm like, what was that? But that's how they communicated. And that's different. When we marry somebody from a different culture, which I have done, or you are getting to know people from a different culture because they moved into your area, or you're now working with them, why not take the time to get to know why they do what they do? And I'm not saying you grill them, but how about I do paperwork different than you do paperwork, and I get it done at the last minute, which drives you, the prepared one, crazy because you know it's not done and you have a presentation with the boss. There's got to be that happy medium of everybody comes a little way until you find that path together. It's the same with animals. They want to be respected. They want to be loved. They want to be cuddled and held and all those wonderful things. We adopted a kitten from a family that just couldn't manage her. And I had to, now everybody knows I know things that most people don't know. But when Emma came to us, first of all, we changed her name. That was the one we wanted to keep. And we tried out a few for about 2 weeks. We called her something for a couple of days, but no, that doesn't work. Animals are pretty flexible. But her backside and her tail was very, very sore because she would run away from the people that she was seeing and they would grab her tail. Tails don't stay on forever. They will get pulled. They will get hurt. If you pull a cat's tail repeatedly, especially hard, we had one cat we adopted that drug their tail on the ground because it had been pulled so hard the nerves had severed. And so there was no more pain, but it was kind of terrible to see this really lovely 10-pound cat with a tail dragging behind him and how it happened. So what we did with our little one is we stayed away from her tail as far as grabbing her so she could calm down and get it. Now what I did when I was with her and she was in my lap is I would pet her on the side of her neck where cats love it, and then go slowly to the tail and to the end. And in the beginning, the first 3 times I did that, she got a little nervous. But what I'm trying to do is change her knowledge of happens when somebody touches my tail. So it needs time to recover, of course, but she needed to build trust with me, and I needed to earn it. I needed to earn the trust because she didn't know, even as a young kitten, she was probably about 5 months old when we got her. So she's almost an adult by then for in cat years. But her backside was so sore. So we picked her up by her feet. We made sure we didn't pet the tail. And I would stroke her when she'd sit in my lap. To this day, now she's been with us, gosh, 8 months. And you can hold her tail because she trusts us. And it gave the time for the tail to heal. So hopefully that gives you some tips on not everybody can be treated the same. They just can't. We're not the same. We come at the world differently.
And I appreciate you sharing that. When we have situations where our pet is not doing what we need them to do, how do we communicate if we're not going to be yelling at them, if we're not going to be mistreating them, and they're not actually following what we need them to do? I assume we need to hire a trainer like you.
I don't want to go straight there because I like people to own. My type of training is, let me walk you through with some tools. Let me show you how to do it, and then I'm going to walk away. Now, some people are good at training. Some people are good at public speaking. Some people aren't. And there's everybody in between. So this is also something. They don't have the temperament. They don't have the patience. I know a lot of people who should not be teaching. I'm sure you know some people, you're like, oh yeah, don't do that. Because they just yell at them. Just, why can't you do that? Oh, that's not constructive. Animals don't want to be yelled at either. They don't want that high energy. They don't want that shrieking, none of that. So if you're not able to do that, and you know you're not, get a trainer. Absolutely. Get a trainer that fits with your family, fits with your lifestyle, and that you can grow with, because the trainer is going to turn that animal over to you. This is not a magic pill. Let me really stress this. Getting help, a doctor, a lawyer, a trainer, a policeman, whatever you need help with, a chef, a cook, a driver, they're not going to be absolutely perfectly doing it your way. That takes time. Even if you pay them millions of dollars and you want it your way, that's great. But I bet there's a training period for you to tell them all the ways you'd like it done, how your hair's done. You and I know. We can go to 3 hairstylists, ask for the same ½ inch off, and it's not the same. It's a little longer. And I'm like, why do I need feathers? I have thin hair. Don't feather my hair. But it's a relationship worth working at. Remember that. If you've taken on a life, if you've taken on a marriage, I don't care what kind of life it is. You've got a business partner. You're in a boat together for the next 4 days. Work it out, dude. Otherwise you're swimming home or some tragedy is going to happen. And the cats, dogs, hamsters, all of them deserve, because you brought them into your home. You need the time to either be taught or write or watch the videos or listen to these podcasts. All of these tools are out there to do this for free and say, okay, I don't like the cat scratching the couch, scratching the easy chair, whatever. So as you're teaching, I've mentioned this before, I will do preemptive because I'm not going to be downstairs to catch the cat every time. So I take box tape, clear box tape. My Lazy Boy rocker is my favorite chair in the whole room, and it's my 3rd one in 20 years. So I take clear box tape. I don't care if it's tan, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't ruin the fabric. I don't have velvet. I just have regular woolen fabric on it. I put tape where the cats can reach up through the top of the chair. And they just think, well, this is a perfect place to scratch my nails. Now, we also have a cardboard scratcher. We have a board scratcher. We have cat trees. We really, really provide them somewhere else to do this. Not the rugs, because our rugs are very expensive. And I don't want I don't have to buy another easy chair. So, and you don't want them to get hurt. What if I'm leaning back and I don't know they're there and they're scratching their nails? So I put box tape. And what do the cats? Oh, they hate it. Cats are really about texture. When I want them to stay off the counters, because they poop and their butts are gross and their feet are in their litter. And I don't want that where I'm cooking. I put foil, crinkled foil, because when they jump up there, first of all, it's not stable. Cat won't repeat where it's not stable. They don't want to be falling, breaking anything. It also makes a horrible noise that they don't understand every time they go near it. And if it starts to get bunched, it can have sharp points. But it's a second. It's like a pin. So I've got the noise, the shock, the awe, and possible owies, but nothing that I'm going to need to call the vet for. And they get up there once or twice, and sometimes you have to repeat it. My older cat, we moved into this building that we're in, and I had to retake the chair after 10 years because I wanted to try it again, but we're in a different place, different chair. I'm really about if you know what the MacGyver way is, if you're old enough to understand that slang, it is just creating something you already have in the house. So if I have this is just for my earbuds, holds the earbuds, but look how it makes noise. So the cats are either going to come running, usually with a newspaper because we throw those around in little balls. But with this, if they're going to step on it, first of all, it doesn't hold their weight, so it's not stable, and it makes a funny noise. After they do it 3 or 4 times, they're going to see that this is completely harmless. But foil, when you bunch it and open it, it has sharp spikes, and that's going to hurt. It shouldn't cause any bleeding or awful damage unless they really got it. But all you're going to do is kind of squish it up and then tape it down if you need to. Our counters are marble, so the foil won't stay. And I'm not going to add dishes so the dishes fall off. But I have taken just some box tape again. They sell it by the foot long, and it's at the dollar store. These are easy ways to keep no jumping. And where do we go potty? In the cat box. In the cat box. What happens when they don't? If they repeatedly do it, first of all, make sure you check with a vet that this is not a health issue. Always, always. When cats specifically, dogs that are in the home also do this. If they all of a sudden change their pattern of how they're responding to you, or like they're whining when you touch them, run to the vet. You need to always rule out medical. If they've got a small pin, it can get infested really fast. So always check with your vet. If it's so strange, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't just complaining. And us as owners have to be listening. We have to be listening because they might be crying and crying and crying, and you just said, oh, you're just being an annoying pet. If they do it 3 or 4 times, no, this is something bigger. So again, foil, it has sharp ends. You don't want to use it very often. You cannot use saran wrap. You'll get them choked to death because it could stick on their foot. It could stick on their tail. They'll try to chew it off. You cannot use saran wrap. You can use paper bags, sure, but they're not going to stay up, so you're going to have to take them down. Think about, what does it sound like if I jumped on it? What would it look like if I jumped on it? And then think about yourself with 4 feet and a tremendous nose for smells. Don't leave food on the counter, ever. If you'd like it to stay without ants, without cockroaches, without the cats and dogs chewing on them, because some of our food we shouldn't be eating, much less them should be eating. Peanut butter is a great trainer. Cheese, a great trainer. And what I mean by food is a thimbleful. You kind of get their nose involved, get their mouth involved, and they're so focused on you. Now we have listening. Now we have a path of communication. They're going to figure out what your gestures mean. And I'm sure you did this with your dogs. This will save their life when they go to run out of the street and the leash breaks and there's a car coming. Having a solid recall. Come on, Bob, come on back, come on back. And you might have to get the fear out of your voice and oh, come on, we're going to go. Get the all excited, happy one. Whatever works to save their life. Because the car will never see them and it'll be too late. Even if they bump them, it's a very large bill or a very heartbroken family. So a lot of this stuff is safe in the house, not just outside.
You've shared so many wonderful tips. Really, I really appreciate that. And I know our audience, whether they're listening or watching, please reach out to Amina. She is so heart centric. She leads with her heart, and she is very smart and shares fabulous information based on her experience and her research. And I really do appreciate you, Amina. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's great to get the word out that it doesn't have to be $1 million. It can just be creative.
Yes, for sure. All right, I'm going to spotlight you and for you to share with our audience how they can reach out to you and how they can hire you and work with you.
Thank you. So, Bridging Worlds with an S on it. I am Bridging Worlds .us. Everything you want to know about me besides these live casts, please go back. We've just done so many wonderful ones that are free information. Give me a ring, but the best way is actually email and Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, very, very active on LinkedIn. I have a great, wonderful troop of animal people that we are all out there trying to make sure that coexisting is really as simple as we're trying to make it. We don't have to pollute our world, and we can all live here together. And it starts with us that are so passionate about our animals. Again, everything you want to know about me, basically my resume is Bridging, BRIDGING, Worlds, WORLDS .us. And it's Bridging Worlds on LinkedIn, and it's Amina Ramazani on LinkedIn and Bridging Worlds on Facebook. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for such a wonderful show.
Thank you, and I really enjoyed it. And I love these topics that we discuss because they have relevance, whether you have pets or not. You treat people the same way, right? Treat people with respect, and it's about forming that relationship and really listening to one another. And people will say animals can't communicate. They do communicate. They absolutely do.
Better than us.
Yes.
Better than us. And they know how to listen to the whales, even if you're on the land, because they understand that vibration. Their sensitivities are so heightened. And we've just dulled ourselves to, radios and stands and telephones. And there's no more, what was it? What was the telephone where you got somebody on a string?
Right.
What was that called? And the party line. I remember my mom had a party.
That's it. Yes.
So
well, I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to our topic for next week.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Take care. Bye, Amina.
Bye.
Well, thank you everyone for watching and for listening wherever you are, whichever platform. We really do appreciate you being here. I have a few messages as we close out the week, so I'll run through them very quickly. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or the second time, we actually have about 27 shows every week. I say about because sometimes guests will cancel, but you can go to our website and you can learn more about the programming that we offer. I will share some quick slides so that you'll give you an idea of the shows. So here is one of our newer shows, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor TV and radio show. This is based on a book that I'm co-writing with Mariska Duprier. She's in New Zealand. And each of the characters you see on the book represent an actual person. These are people who took my elevated listening course and they got certified, The Power of Listening. And they are going to help tell the story to help children and their parents learn how to listen. Another new show is Dr. JACALYN's Book Club. This is where I am featuring other authors' work, specifically children's books. And if you're interested in having your books featured, please do reach out to me. My email address is jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. We also have Talking Heads. I've started my own Talking Heads series. Talking Heads is a platform where experts from around the world come and share their knowledge, their information in their own 30-minute show. My show is about listening. What a surprise. Okay, we also have the Mallorca Connection with Roland Friedel. We have Secrets to Timeless Beauty with Katrina Valente. I should mention Roland is in an RV traveling through Europe. He left his home and he's out on the road working wirelessly for probably a year or two. Katrina is in Dubai. We also have a woman's prerogative. This is a panel show where we have different women from around the world. They are regular panelists, and we invite guests. If you're a woman and you'd like to be on the show, you can sign up. We talk about all kinds of topics. Coming up next week is stem cells. This week we talked about what is a woman. So of course we have people from all over the world who are feeling one way or another, and there's no judgment. It's a safe space for people to share their stories, and we actually listen. We also have the art of mental health wealth with Janetta Barry and the Epiphany Process. What's trending with Kathy Fulton. Of course, this show, AMINAH, Pet Psychic. And we have Loving Longevity, which is the show before this. This is with Annie Bush. We have Global Homes and Gardens. We also have the United Kitchens with Chef Ricky McKenna. We have Adversity to Awesome, which is a show that I do myself. And we have The Power of Etiquette and Manners with Philip Sykes. Authentic Achievements with Kim Adele Randall. A new show coming up called Who's Listening Game Show. And this is for people who have taken the Power of Listening course and become certified. And stay tuned because I have a very special offer for people who are interested in getting certified. We also have Aging Gracefully with Humor. This is also with Kathy Fulton. And we have our men's show, Wild at Heart, Real, Authentic, Uncut Bonfire Talks. We have The Wise Ones with Red O'Laughlin. The Corner Bookstore with Diane Floyd Bain. The Business Talk Show with Al Cini. And we also have The Listening Mentor, which is yours truly. We have Leadership of the Heart with Mariska Duprier. We have the United Kingdom with Diane Floyd Bain, and our expert correspondents from the United Kingdom who are very involved with the British royal family. They've been covering them for years. One of them, of our correspondents, Ian Pelham Turner, he actually is covering part of the Boris Johnson story. So we're really blessed that we have people of this caliber joining us. It's Ian Pelham Turner, Helena Shard, and Simon McDonald, who is a celebrity chef and a TV presenter and the chairman of the fisheries for Scotland. And we have our show, The Talking Heads panel, that features a number of our talking heads. It's different each month. And 5 minutes before the show starts, I give them the topic. And then we just have a discussion. And we have the film and music show. So they are some of the shows that we have. StreamYard only gives me the ability to have so many graphics, so I have to constantly change. So the other thing I want to leave you with is this. In addition to being the president and the founder of USA Global TV, I'm also the executive producer, I'm the director, and I'm the lead presenter. I have another business, which is Dr. JACALYN LLC. My website is drjacalyn.com. I teach people how to listen at an elevated level in my role as the listening mentor, and I'll get back to that quickly. I'm also a certified life and career coach. I'm a certified meditation teacher and a certified yoga instructor. My goal is to help people find inner peace. With all these things together, that's what it amounts to. And I love to teach people how to listen at an elevated level. This is so incredibly important. And we can learn more about this by going to my website, drjacalyn.com. Now, with the elevated listening, I have a course, as I mentioned, I'm going to find the graphic. It's the Power of Listening Foundation course, and you actually get certified. This is a course that's $257. It's 2.5 hours long. I'm offering it today for $30, 30. And I'll let you know how you can actually do that. Why should you take this course? Because you probably think that you're a great listener. If I asked you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, you probably would come back with a 6, 7, 8, or 9. Then you're going to take the course, which includes many role plays. You're going to watch the role plays, and most likely, not in all cases, but every one I've seen so far, you will say, wow, I didn't realize how much I was missing because I'm not actually listening. So the courses bring light to the fact that we're listening while doing something else. Is that possible? No. Can I be doing anything else and be fully present for you as a listener? No, it's not possible. Try it. Try it. I've got exercises that will bring this to light. Is it possible to listen when you're judging the other person? What does that mean? Pro-vaccination, against vaccination, Democrat, Republican, abortion, pro-life, gun control, no. We have all these various issues that we have to deal with. As soon as something is said that you don't agree with, you shut off. You judge the other person. Oh, I'm not going to, you might not say anything, but in your mind, you're thinking, wow, so glad I found out that she or he or they are this, because now that's it. I'm not going to be speaking to them anymore. We do it all the time. It's on social media all the time. You learn to listen without judging, listen without interrupting, listen without multitasking, listen without stage hogging, which is where the person's sharing a story and then you one up them. You have a better story than theirs. You might not even realize you're doing it. You steal the stage and now it becomes about you and the person still left trying to share their story. So these are some of the things that you learn by watching role plays. So if you are interested, you will get certified. You'll get a certificate. It goes onto my website, drjacalyn.com, has your name on it. Your headshot is on there. And then I promote you as being someone who took the time and made the commitment to learn how to listen at an elevated level. Why is that important? Because we all want to be heard. We feel better when we know we've been heard. If you think about people who never listen to you, how does that feel? You remember. So the information to take the course is as follows, and I will type this in as we're closing out. Dr. JACALYN, which is DRJACALYN .thinkific. That's a platform, thinkific.com. And the coupon promo code to take the $257 course for $30 is LISTEN, all capital letters. Thank you for listening to me. I wish you a beautiful weekend wherever you are in the world. Please stay safe and please listen to the people in your life. Find a time that works for you, that works for them, where you can actually be fully present. I promise you it will make a huge difference in your life. All right, thank you for now. We'll be back on Monday. Take care.